Let's dig into that in Tech Check with our very own Deirdre Bosa today. Deirdre, I don't know if you caught it, but basically he was saying, a lot of people have said, come on, Google's just going to be just fine and it's going to come back around. And he's like, no, Microsoft lead counts and it might be growing.
Yeah, he was basically saying they need to become more urgent. And that comes amidst reports that Google's, panicking inside, that they've lost their AI lead to Microsoft. Now, at the crux of this conversation as well, Kelly, yes, AI is the hot button issue, but also this idea of a wartime versus peacetime CEO that we haven't seen in some time. The CEO that is able to cut costs where possible, but also keep that edge in terms of innovation. Mark Zuckerberg, wartime CEO. Satya Nadella, wartime CEO. Sundar Pichai, I think the market is still trying to decide if he can get tough on this. So you mentioned Brad Gerstner of Altimeter Capital. Listen to what he said. It was pretty brutal.
If I'm the CEO of Google, I have one job. Do not let ChatGPT secure a leadership position in search and discovery when it comes to AI. And that's exactly what's happened. 200 million people now treat ChatGPT, a verb, as synonymous with discovery in the age of AI.
Kelly, I don't know about you, but I've started using, generative AI a lot more in my day-to-day. And the first place I go is OpenAI, not Bard. Actually, I went to both today. Bard gave me the correct answer. But that's the problem here, is that Google has a much deeper history in AI, more tools, more resources. They've been working on this for so long, but Microsoft has just captured the consumer here with a big, splashy, open product launch. Google's going to have a chance on May 10th at their Google I/O Developer Conference. But you have to wonder if you're going to see a difference. Sundar Pichai, is he going to be cautious and thoughtful as he has been, or is he going to come out and make a splash? I think a lot of folks think he needs to make that splash.
Yeah, and I took Brad Gerstner's point that he doesn't mind Google being second, but just kind of come in a big splashy way and say, okay, here we are. And he hasn't gotten that vibe. And of course, even Pichai doing 60 Minutes, kind of warning about the AI dangers. So now attention turns to what else they might have on the table. I guess, Deirdre, the question just also becomes, or the significance becomes, Gerstner was, he wrote the open letter to Meta, right, that kind of started the year of efficiency. I mean, he has people's ear in the Valley. He has people's ear in tech. And you wonder if the response from Google will be as humble as the response from Zuckerberg was.
That is a great point, Kelly. And I can tell you, he's not the only person speaking like this, saying that, he's kind of disappointed that Sundar Pichai hasn't done more. I've talked to many founders and investors as well that say that Sundar needs to do a little bit more. That said, it is still extremely, extremely early, and there are some things that Sundar Pichai and Alphabet is doing, like bringing its deep mind into the fold, restructuring so that they can do more. So there's still time, there's still space, and this is going to be a long runway for Alphabet to catch up here. But it is remarkable that we're saying catch up when it has thought to have had the lead for so long. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But really, I think many people call it an existential moment for Google. And just going back to the point that I'm using generative AI more, and that's taking my time away from Google search.
I was going to ask you what you were using it for. Was this like stock queries or?
You know what I asked? I asked if ARM was ever a public company. OpenAI told me that it was not. It was always private. In fact, it was a public company, and SoftBank bought it on the open market. So Bard was correct. So you got to be careful. I mean, the answer from OpenAI was extremely convincing. I asked it several different ways.
And that's an easy question, right? Don't you think that's
easy?
That's a softball. That's a lay. Wow. Tell Gerstner, man, he's better start buying Google shares today as a result of this. Deirdre, thank you very much. Our Deirdre Bosa in Tech Check.